Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuoki Kyoto Wins. We are on Hachiro Iba's route. Only on the second episode, so we're still going to have some common route material to go through and lots of forwarding, most likely. So we finally discovered why he knows us, because he visited our clinic back in the day, and he's very disappointed that we didn't recognize him. I feel terrible. But come on, it was a clinic. I'm sure lots of people were in and out of there. Well, anyway, let's get back to this scene. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Iba's expression seemed a little disappointed by my response. Well, I guess it's natural that you wouldn't remember. We were little. There we go, childhood friends. Sort of, in a way. But I remember you now.
Thanks. It's nice to meet you again.
Yes. His smile was so contagious, I couldn't help myself from smiling in response.
Hey, why are you saying you remember him now? Don't lie to him, he's our guest. Oh, stop it. I'll make sure we see more of each other in the near future, so she doesn't forget. What? What are you talking about? You don't have to keep coming back here. Oh, don't be like that. Come on, we're both from Edo, we're buddies.
What, is he not welcome here? Iba drew Hijikata in closer in a jovial manner, and Hijikata blushed at the notion. Yeah, he blushes a little too much with the buddy-buddy. Hijikata's normally really uptight, so seeing him behave this way was startling. I had a lingering suspicion that Hijikata was actually enjoying himself. All of the commotion must have alerted the captains, because they popped up from nowhere.
Oh, what the hell? Hachiro, is that you? I knew I heard your voice somewhere. It really was you, huh? Shinpachi, Harada. Everyone else is here too. A long time no see, boys. Man, you're in Kyoto too. Are you here to train or are you sightseeing?
Don't be stupid. I'll bet he's here to protect someone important or something, am I right?
Well, maybe it's something like that.
Top secret, eh?
If you're in Kyoto, I assume you have a pretty good position.
Iba nodded, plainly in response.
Oh, I see. You're in Kyoto too, huh? Well, be careful. Don't be stupid and die or something.
Sounds like you think a lot of him.
Thank you for the warning. I'll keep that in mind. Hey, we should go drinking someday. I mean, we could go now if you want.
Each of the captains surrounded Iba and exchanged words. Most of all, Iba seemed lost in the amount of fun he had while conversing with everyone. I guess he really knew everyone back in Edo. Hijikata watched their interaction with warmth in his eyes and muttered,
See, despite him being a Hatamoto, and also the heir of the Iba dojo, he chose to learn about each and every one of us, and he treats us with respect. It seems no one can escape his amiable nature.
He seemed to be especially fond of Hijikata, though. But I couldn't dare say that.
Well, I guess you can say we're friends. Whenever he visits, be sure to let him in.
Understood. Before we knew it, evening had come, and Iba told us it was time for him to depart.
When I return to Edo, I'll be sure to ask around about Kyoto.
Thank you.
Very well. Be sure it's kept under wraps. Got it. Won't tell anyone.
As we exchanged goodbyes, the warriors returned from their afternoon rounds. One of them seemed to take notice of us, and he rushed over while shouting,
Oh boy. You're that bastard from the other day. What the hell are you doing here?
It was Takeda, glaring at Iba angrily and demanding answers.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't think we've been acquainted yet. Do you dare mock me? You name yourself! I am Okuzume of the Obanshi, protector of the shogun and the realm, Hachiro Iba. A shogun and protector of the realm? Iba? Wait, from the Iba dojo? Yes, I've been here on official business in Kyoto. In the meantime, I've come to visit my old friends from the Shiei Hall to pay my respects. Don't lie. This visit is not for idle pleasantries. You're here to spread lies about the other day. I have strictly come to pay my respects.
And have fun.
Or would you rather me remind you what happened during this so-called other day?
Iba's eyes sharpened directly at Takeda, and the latter stopped his pacing and deepened his voice.
Whatever you say. Then we're settled. Looks like I'll be on my way then.
Takeda seemingly snapped into shape, speaking with a semblance of respect before storming off. Iba seemed relaxed despite everything. Everyone silently stood still, and I was afraid of another incident, so I sighed once Takeda left.
Toshi, who is that man? He's Kanryusei Takeda, the captain of the 5th Division. Yukimura told me about the other day. Sorry about that. I'll make sure he doesn't bother you any further.
I'm fine, but please watch over her. I think if he finds out she was there...
Okay, got it. Alright then, Chizuru. I'll drop by again soon, okay?
Oh. Did he mean he's coming to see me? Did he just mean he was visiting the headquarters? I couldn't respond since I was unsure, and Iba smiled to me with his twinkling eyes. His face seemed reluctant, if not a little forlorn, as he left the compound. I stared at him as he walked into the distance, until his small figure was removed from my eyes. Iba was a mysterious person. Even if he was someone very important and upper class, he acted with integrity and kindness, commanding a lot of respect from the captains of the Shinsengumi. I did not think there was a samurai like him in the shogunate. Again, I will stay behind. Again, go to the common room. And we have a new summary here for the next season. November 1864. 2 months passed since Kyoto underwent the flames of the Hamagori Rebellion. Summer faded into a warm memory, and the mornings and nights became constantly chilly. I think this is good. I examined my appearance in the mirror and tied my hair back into a fine knot. Yep, this is good. The year neared November, marking almost 9 months since I began living with the Shinsengumi. It seemed like I was finally getting the hang of dressing like a man, compared to how unfamiliar it originally felt when I lived in Edo. For the keen-eyed, however, I guess there was no hiding that I'm a woman. For instance, when I met Okita, Saito, and Harada for the first time, they all knew right away. And even when I met Iba...
Shh, don't. A girl should not get involved in such a dangerous situation. This man is not hesitant to hurt you, and it will be grave.
I thought I was doing a good job. Is my disguise as a man too obvious? I looked at myself in the mirror again. There really isn't much I can do about my height, or my face, but maybe I should act more like a boy to prevent rumors spreading about the Shinsengumi. Maybe I can use a huskier voice, but how would I go about doing that? Maybe I can try using words men use. I looked at my reflection once more and puffed my chest up, practicing some more masculine words. So they think I look like a woman, huh? Huh, joke's on them. I'm a man. Just got a cute face is all. Despite my looks, I am very much a man, yo. Sorry. How was that? I think that was a good start. Pretty manly.
You sound like you're forcing it. Talking with such bravado doesn't suit you.
Oh! A voice came suddenly from nowhere, and I quickly turned my head. Iba, when did you get here?
Just a little while ago. I never expected you to be so playful and fun.
Well... Oh my goodness, how long was he standing there? My face was flushed from embarrassment. I barely knew what to do with myself.
What's the matter? You're blushing. Was it something I said?
You don't think that was embarrassing enough? No, trust me, it wasn't anything you said. If anything, it was all the things I was saying to myself. But to think Iba would approach me when I was just thinking about him. I took a deep breath discreetly, and I decided to ask him about why he was visiting. So, what brings you here today? Did you have business with Hijikata? If you do, both he and Kondo are out on business at the moment.
Oh no, I'm not here for Toshi, but rather for you.
For me?
Yes, indeed. You see, I was doing some investigating in Edo for any answers of your father.
What? Were you able to find anything? It was nearly impossible to stop my voice from conveying my anticipation, but Iba shook his head glumly.
I visited the Yukimura infirmary and asked your neighbors, but... Unfortunately, there were no signs of Kodo returning yet.
I see. Even though I braced myself for disappointment, his confirmation sank my heart like a stone brick. Yet again, I had to wait for a positive sign. If there's no trace of him returning to Edo, then does that mean he's still somewhere in Kyoto? Like those are the only two places in the world. Still, if that were the case, there was no way the Shinsengumi wouldn't have noticed. Kyoto was hit hard by the Hamaguro Rebellion. Thinking about it now, there's a chance that my father could have been involved in the fires too. I worried more and more for him every day. Iba seemed to take notice of my mind working busily, so he tried to comfort me. Aw.
It's still too early to assume the worst. Ever since returning to Kyoto, I've heard many rumors about someone who fit Koto's profile.
Really? He nodded strongly to my response.
Yes. So, because of this, I wanted to ask a favor from one of the warriors here.
Before Iba could finish, someone else spoke.
I thought I heard a familiar voice in these halls. It really is you, Iba. Toshi informed me that you were in Kyoto, so I'm glad that I was here to see it for myself.
We heard his mellow voice from beyond the hallway, and we turned around to see Inoue standing in the doorway. Join the party!
Inoue, perfect timing. Just the person I wanted to see. I have a favor to ask of you.
Oh, what is it? I'd be happy to help in any way.
That's my Inoue. Shortly after, Iba led me to the main street. It was very rare for me to leave the compounds unless it was to accompany around. Also, I was accustomed to the attention we'd received while on rounds, as civilians would stare at us with fear or hatred. In this moment, however, no one paid us any mind, passing by us as they went about their business. It was refreshing to see. Since arriving in Kyoto, I'd almost forgotten what it felt like to be a normal person again, even if I was in disguise. Are you sure it's okay for me to be out here in the open, outside of the compounds? I was so paranoid of getting into trouble with the Shinsengumi, I had to ask Iba, albeit timidly.
I already received approval from Inoue, so you don't have to worry about that. Be on your guard, though. I assume there may be watchers from afar. Stay sharp.
Will do. Oh, right. I'm sure Inoue wouldn't blankly approve of me leaving the compounds without reason, so this was my biggest chance to gather any news of father. Hey, Iba, would it be too much to ask about what kind of rumor you heard of my father?
Well, you might regret it.
Iba froze up a little at my question. I wondered if something was wrong, or if the rumor in question was a little awkward. I was lost pondering the pause of our conversation, and Iba gazed at me with pity as he told me the truth.
I'm sorry, I need to be honest with you. You see, all that I said concerning the rumors of Koto, well, it was all a lie.
Huh? I didn't understand. I stopped walking. What does that mean? That he wanted a date with you so badly that he lied. Iba looked at me with cloudy eyes and continued.
Well, when I saw you earlier, you looked so pained. I couldn't bear to see you so distraught. I figured the least I could do for you is take you out, get your mind off things.
I didn't know how to respond. All I could do was stand there and let the reality sink in. Iba's concern was appreciated, but... So, in other words, you lied to Inoue. His body shifted at the sound of my suggestion, and he gave a wry smile before responding.
Well, technically yes, but I'm pretty sure he saw right through me. So he was complicit. He may be less inclined to act on what he sees, but I have a strong feeling that he felt the same way I did.
Come to think of it, when I first visited the compound, Inoue was the first member of the house to show me kindness. So maybe Inoue saw through Iba's ruse, but agreed enough with his intentions to get my mind into a better place. Yep, that's the way it be. He placed his hand on my shoulder, while his eyes gazed at me with contemplation.
Honestly, I don't think Koto is dead. A doctor of Western medicine as talented as him wouldn't be killed by any domain wantonly, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, but what if he was killed by bandits at night, on the road? His words came confidently, and seemed to melt my worries, if even a little. I bowed toward Iba. Thank you very much. I agree with you, and I'm grateful for your words. However, if I can't obtain any information on my father, it might be best for us to return now. Iba seemed taken aback by my suggestion.
Hey, let's wait a minute. That would defeat the whole reason for me taking you out. I brought you out here to help take your mind off such matters.
I know, but...
You said it yourself, too, that Inoue agrees with me that you need some fresh air. Going back to the compounds without giving yourself a chance to relax would be treading on the courtesy of Inoue, let alone myself.
You do have a point there. I guess he had a point, but still...
There are no Shinsengumi warriors around you. How often do you get that chance? Why don't you do what you want?
What? What I want?
Sure, I mean, Inoue told me you haven't done much sightseeing since you came to Kyoto, right? So, tell me what you want to do. What does your heart desire?
That's a good question. I would like to take a stroll. Well, I guess it couldn't hurt to take a stroll. His eyes widened with surprise, and he was so excited it felt like words were spilling from his mouth. How is this anything new, though? I take a stroll all the time when I go on rounds, don't I? It's pretty much the same thing.
A stroll, yes? That's what you want to do?
Yes, although I'm allowed to go on rounds. I've never just walked around Kyoto, let alone taken in some sights. Iba's eyes thinned kindly, and he nodded.
Understood. Then let's do that.
Sounds good to me.
Boy, it seems like you're easily charmed.
Who said I've been charmed?
You could get away with asking for a hairpin or two. You know that.
I would never do that. The honesty behind his compliments made me blush, and I was too shy to look him in the eye. Suddenly, Iba glanced to the wide sky and muttered to himself.
I understand where you're coming from. Being impatient and worrying, that is. However, just because you're alert and on the lookout, none of that will change anything. Do you know the phrase, sickness and health start with the mind? If you get sick, your father will truly be saddened.
A sudden thought popped into my head, making me recall the first moment I met Iba. He had this innate ability and amiable charisma that made every word leave his mouth without the sense that he was coercing you into his opinion. You could sense that his suggestions were always out of respect for you, and he knew the best times to affirm and to sympathize.
All right, let's go.
Iba started to stroll slowly. As we walked through the town, I would occasionally pass girls appearing around my age. All of the girls wore kimonos with hairpins, and they all dressed so fashionably that it captivated me. I'd almost forgotten how girls could dress.
Some say that the only thing people from Kyoto spend money on is clothes. Osaka only cares about luxurious meals, but girls here only love fashion.
Yeah. Unlike Edo, where girls wouldn't even wear makeup, it seems every girl in Kyoto wore lipstick.
I think you'd look lovely wearing a fine kimono like these girls. Such a waste to see you in this.
I fell silent after his backhanded compliment. You're joking.
But I'm not. I would love to see you dressed in an elegant kimono someday. I look forward to it, actually.
As we talked, we strolled around Kyoto, soaking in the happenings of the city. Well, if only we had that Shimbara incident thing with him there. When we passed by the tea shop where we first met, Iba suddenly stopped.
Why, this is the tea shop from our first meeting. Why don't we go in?
No, thank you. We won't find any leads there.
You're such a serious person. Well, I guess that's something to admire.
I wasn't sure if it was because he comes from an elite family, but Iba was rather blunt. He was so forward with compliments.
Next time, let's make sure to set aside some time for when we take a stroll.
Sure. Next time? So, I wonder if he was already plotting another one of these strolls. With a lie to start it out. I mean, it wasn't as if Iba made me unhappy or uncomfortable, but I was admittedly a little surprised by how much concern he showed me. It was love at first sight. We returned to the main road when Iba had a sudden flash of inspiration.
I just remembered. Kyoto has the most delicious sweets around.
Sweets?
So, the other day, I ate this snack called a castella, and it was one of the most delightful treats I've ever had. It was quite delicious. There's even an egg inside, so there's nutritional value, as well as being sweet for your tooth. If you get the chance, you should have some.
Oh. Of course I've never eaten any of the sweets he was talking about, but hearing him speak so excitedly about it had me excited as well. Interesting. The calm sunset drifted into the outer golden sky, and a pool of soft orange hovered above us, whispering the blue night yet to come. Summer paused, meaning the cool autumn leaves revolved around the later setting sun. If we took our time, the darkness would beat us home. Iba? I think we need to head back to the compounds.
You're right, huh? I mourn the end of the day. Such a sad affair.
His cloudy eyes pierced through me, and I almost felt overcome by the somber mood brought on by the end of our adventure. I'm sorry.
Oh, no need to apologize. Please, it's not as if I want to cause you any trouble. Today's certainly not our last day together, and I'll find another opportunity to invite you.
Oh no, I wanted to apologize for something else actually. It seemed like Iba operated in extremes, and both his exuberance for life and his penchant for deep introspection made my heart tighten. From all the kindness you've shown me, I think it's because you've known of me before, right? The thing is, I can't remember you at all, and it eats away at me. I'm so sorry for saying this. I could see the drifting sun in his melancholy eyes, and he smiled kindly to me. There was so much sincerity in his words and his being.
Come now. I can't blame you for this at all. After all, you had to have been only 5 back then.
Wait, you met me when I was 5? That was so long ago, yet he took one glance at me and remembered who I was. Iba nodded quietly, perhaps mired in a brief gust of nostalgia. I reflected then about my life at 5 years old. Was it around the time I just moved to Edo? The ghosts of old memories are hard to pin, and each year the haze fades into a smoke. Did I have a playmate back then or something? I desperately tried to scavenge any image of Iba that I could, but nothing came to mind. Meanwhile, he stared at me blankly, seemingly stuck between a wall of resignation and an ache for a time gone by.
Do you remember what I said to you back then?
Huh? What do you mean?
Shh! Don't. A girl shouldn't get involved in such a dangerous situation. This man will not hesitate to hurt you, and it will be grave.
You mean back at the tea shop? You told me a girl shouldn't enter a dangerous situation, right? Iba sighed deeply, and his forlorn expression burrowed straight into me. Then he wiped it away and smiled brightly.
Yes, that was it. Please watch out for yourself.
His reluctance to confirm what I asked him led me to believe that he was, in fact, referring to something else he said in the past to me. But nothing comes to mind. Maybe he asked me to marry him when we were children.
Let's head back to the compounds. I'll walk you.
Oh, okay. I often drew a blank when thinking of my childhood, so this was all the more frustrating. The shores of his eyes reflected a mourning in his soul, yet his gentle demeanor put me at ease. I wonder what kind of words he said to me back then. Why couldn't I remember anything about them? 'Cause it was right after you fled your destroyed village and got separated from Kaoru? Such a thought crossed my mind as I walked back to the Mibu town with Iba. February 1865, and now we're in Chapter 3. For our first choice, investigate. And we will investigate the Yagi house. And we must scream this time. Sanin came to hate himself for being unable to fight alongside his comrades and friends. Even if they forgave him, he never forgave himself. But
I doubt you can understand.
was it the sort of thing only a fellow swordsman could comprehend then? How could I convince him to listen to me? If I couldn't, then perhaps there was someone else who could. I screamed as loud as my lungs allowed, my voice echoing down the halls and across the courtyards of the compound. Help! Please, anyone! But even as I cried out, Sanin drew his head back and drained the vial in a single draught. No! With a soft clink of glass, it rolled from Sanin's palm to the floor of the common room. His face worked in pain, and he collapsed to the floor.
Ah!
his hair began to turn white.
Gah.
It became clear to me that his pain was something no ordinary person could handle. "Sanin, you have to hold on." Through his fingers, I saw his maddening eyes. Before me were the eyes that greeted me on that first night in Kyoto. Behind me, I heard the door slide open. Sanin looked behind me over my shoulder.
Okita, you.
Good evening, Sanin.
It seemed like Okita didn't even look at me, his eyes completely focused on Sanin, then briefly the small bottle on the floor, before back to Sanin. Well, he grasped the situation.
Thanks for the heads up, Chizuru.
Okita, Sanin is... Sanin stared at Okita, his breaths ragged and pained, like air struggled to stay in his chest.
Yes, she's right. This experiment was a failure. Okita, I hate to impose, but if you could...
Yes, I understand.
His expression flashed into a familiar grin. Even after Okita drew his sword, it still didn't occur to me what was about to happen. The polished tip of Okita's blade was pointed directly at Sanin.
Don't worry your little head. It would be my pleasure to help you die.
I'm glad to see you're quick to the task. It's expected from the sword of the Shinsengumi.
Sanin exuded calm at the sound of Okita's response. I held my breath, unsure if I wanted to see what was about to happen before me. "Okita, you're not serious, are you? You aren't really going to kill him, are you?" My voice shook with disbelief, and Okita's eyes paid me no attention.
Knock it off. You aren't part of this, so keep your mouth shut.
But wasn't Sanin his comrade or his friend? Everyone seemed to give their heart and soul to the Shinsengumi, but not like this.
It's really annoying, you know. You think you're part of the Shinsengumi.
He didn't even move, but his tone hit me like a slap. I'd been living with them for so long that my initial fear almost completely disappeared. I felt like I'd found a place for myself.
You've already forgotten. Let me remind you. We only keep you alive because you're useful. You are not one of us.
His words shattered my already breaking heart. But just then... Sanin screamed in pain, and I saw him kick the floor. Then I heard a horrific sound, like meat being cleaved, and resounding through the darkness.
Ah!
Peeking over Okita's back, I heard the loud thud of a body collapsing to the floor, and around Okita's foot pooled the dark red puddle of blood. "Sanin?" I was trembling as I watched the blood trickle.
Stay away from him.
Okita's arm appeared in front of me, coldly. "What? But why?" I gave him a reproachful gaze, but he showed no signs of faltering.
Are you going to make me repeat myself? I told you to stay away from him. I subdued him for now, but I don't know what it did to him. Be careful, he might still get up.
Huh?
What I did to him isn't enough to kill him. Not after he drank that stuff. He's not gonna die.
So Sanin is... still alive? Okita nodded bitterly, his body locked into a defensive position.
I just told you he can't die like you or I can. So yeah, obviously he's still alive.
I was relieved from the bottom of my heart. Oh, thank goodness. This good news, however, didn't mean we could let our guards down. Sanin could lose his senses again and potentially mortally wound us. But for now, at least, Sanin is still alive. Ooh, okay. So we're having this confrontation with Kazuma Amagiri and Shiranui, and look at who's shown up. Actually, we're gonna have to cut this and save it for the next one because I know this is gonna be a long scene and we can't fit it in the video. I don't think, even in spite of all the forwarding I did, I think it's still gonna cut down to about half an hour, so. Yep. We'll see Iba in the next episode right at the very beginning. So, hope to see you there or in some of my other videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.